officials for tonight's hockey game. The referee is young Terry Gregson, born in Erin, Ontario, just northwest of Toronto, now lives in Niagara Falls.
Leach looking for help, comes to center, Bure! Pavel Bure! Hooked down! Will it be a penalty shot? Yes!
There never has been a penalty shot goal in the Stanley Cup final.
And Terry Gregson, Dick, is officiating his 1,000th NHL game.
And Brian Burke of the NHL office, along with Mrs. Gregson, at the brief ceremony that was held to honor Terry for that. I always remember Harry told me the story about when he started out and he was driving through snowstorms in the west between Regina and Billings, Montana, wondering, am I doing the right thing here by wanting to be a referee? But he has become one of the best.
Terry Gregson was born in the small town of Erin, which is just west of Toronto, Ontario. In 1982, at the time of Terry's hire into the NHL as an on-ice official, he was then a high school teacher. He would go on to referee over 1,400 regular season games, 158 Stanley Cup playoff games, and participated in 8 Stanley Cup finals.
Terry basically was just a fun guy to work with. He was very, very, very firm and fair when he was on the ice, and I learned that from him.
I remember working one night with him. We did a Game 7 together, Phoenix and St. Louis, and it was probably one of the most enjoyable games I ever worked, because when you worked with Terry, he looked after what he had to do, and you did your job.
But he never went to the school of arrogance, and he was good. Not like the rest of them. He did the job. He wouldn't go, you, there, over there. Good guy.
I first met him in the early 80s. Very intelligent guy, very methodical in his ways, and that's how he refereed too.
I've known Terry for almost 30 years now, and so he's been my teammate for 30 years. And there's not a lot of players in any sport that stay on the team for 30 years, as we do as officials, and you become close, your families become close.
While Terry was refereeing in the NHL, he also served as an executive for 20 years on the National Hockey League Officiating Association, and was their respective president for 10 years. During his time as president, Terry fought for the protection and well-being of his teammates. He implemented many benefit programs for the officials, such as insurance, investment options, and education packages.
The longest president that I had, and I was in the business 29 years on the ice, and Terry did some great things.
The strides we made when Terry was our boss, or our OA boss, was unbelievable. He was tireless. I don't know how he took all the time and still was able to referee and officiate on the ice. He just worked as far as things like improvements in insurance and health benefits, and this guy was he was way ahead of his time as far as I'm concerned.
Coming from a teaching background, Terry knew the importance of education, and he implemented an education program where officials and their wives would be able to pursue their education further.
The education package in Terry's mind was that we would retire somewhere in the age of 50 years old, and Terry wanted to give us the ability to maybe go out in the workforce. And some guys have taken advantage of it, and he even made it available for the guys' wives, which was really unique.
You know, putting monies from our salaries and playoff bonuses, our educational program. I mean, my wife's benefited from that, getting secondary education through that program.
After Terry's time on the ice, he took the role of senior officiating manager with the National Hockey League, where he continued to improve the life of an official in the NHL. One of Terry's many contributions to the culture was the implementation of succession planning. This program was designed to bring pride to the transition of retirement.
Succession planning was fabulous. I was one of the very first guys that went through it, and Terry kept on phoning me up, and what can we do for you? You know, before it never was like that. It was what can I do for the company? And Terry turned that around, and I'll tell you what, my last couple of years were seamless, and it was a pleasure to go out the way I did. It was fun. Terry made it where, you know, you had a couple extra days off or something like that, and And I'll tell you what, succession planning for me was absolutely great.
He was able to convince the National Hockey League that this company needed an exit plan, a succession plan for its officials as it was leaving the business, instead of somebody getting their legs cut out from underneath them. So Terry introduced succession planning, which all of his officiating managers now went through with Terry, and he was very professional in the way he conducted it. It wasn't about chasing you off the ice. It was about getting you off the ice when you had the right feeling about it was time to leave. And you coordinated that with Terry through meetings. You sat down and talked about when was the right time, and he was very good. And obviously, you're on the ice, he's off the ice, but you were able to mesh what the right time was, and he made you feel good about that. And you were in a comfort zone then, working in the last couple of years of your career, knowing full well that with succession planning, you were leaving the business with all your integrity in place. And when you're in this business for as long as most of us have been, that's a great feeling.
He cares that when somebody comes off the ice, that should be an enjoyable experience, and not sitting and waiting till June 15th till the pink slip comes in the mail. Terry has created this program where you 2 and 3 years down the road when your last game is going to be. And as Bill McCurry said, in the officiating managers, we've all gone through it, and it's been a tremendous experience and very relaxing in your last few years.
Today, Terry is the Senior Vice President of Officiating for the National Hockey League. His management staff is made up of ex-NHL officials who help oversee the 74 on-ice officials throughout the 9-month NHL season. Working together, they continued to create a positive and successful environment for the on-ice officials.
Well, you wouldn't know Terry's your boss. You go out there and do your work and work hard and perform, and you'll never hear from Terry. Terry's a self-management guy, and I think the guys who he has working for him are all that way. And we make it our business to work hard and to self-manage ourselves. And Terry's taught us that.
He was a school teacher before he got into the hockey world, and so he's been able to take his skills, his communication skills, his intelligence, and he's taken that off the ice now into a managerial area. And I think that he lets us guys as OMs self-manage ourselves.
It's a learning experience for me every day. Terry allows us to run. We know the parameters we're allowed. But Terry allows us. He's a good delegator, and you can only be a good delegator if you trust the people that are working for you. And by his delegation, I think he's got good trust in us to send a message and make our team better. And that's what Terry brings. When we get a little out of line, I know I've had a phone call or an email, and we've addressed things, but that's the learning curve for me.
Terry's contributions to officiating can also be seen at the international level. On the ice, Terry refereed international tournaments from Finland to Japan. In the off-season, Terry has conducted officiating schools all over the world. He was also a big part of helping the International Ice Hockey Federation in their transition to the 4-man system.
I had an experience last summer going to Zurich, Switzerland with him, and I can tell you from the time we got off the airplane till the time we got back on to fly home, he is held in a very high esteem by the IHF, and a big background there. Terry first worked at a referee school when he was 18 years old. He's introduced a lot of things to the IHF. He works hand in hand with them, and I think proof is in the pudding now. We have a gentleman over here working on our staff from Sweden, and he may not be the last person you ever see working for the National Hockey League.
Most recently, Terry was also a key member of a 4-person officiating selection committee for the 2010 Vancouver Olympics.
And we were able to work with their officials and plus integrate our officials into the system. We were involved in the day-to-day operations, and it was a very nice compliment to Terry when Rennie Fassel, the head of the International Ice Hockey Federation, came in and made a comment that it was the first year that he could ever remember where there wasn't an issue in the officiating.
Wanted to take this opportunity to congratulate Terry on a fabulous career and also on being awarded this special presentation and wish him all the luck in the world.
I want to wish Terry well and going into the Golden Whistle Award. You well deserved, and coming from a guy whose head this big, I'm surprised Brett can get it on his camera, but it's a wide angle lens. Terry, good luck and congratulations.
Terry, what a great night for you and Laurie, and you guys have been all over the world, and this is another stop in both of your professional career, and just a great honor for you to be presented with this Gold Whistle Award, and I'm certainly glad that you, Laurie, are there with Terry, because the two of you both deserve to share in this award. And Terry, congratulations, and you've been a true pro your whole life, and thank you for everything you've done for the McCurry family.
To both Terry and Laurie, congratulations on this tremendous honor, the Golden Whistle, the things that he does at home in his community in Thornbury, what he continues to do up there, whether it's our camp or what him and Laurie represent their community. I congratulate Terry and Laurie.
And one thing I think everybody should know out there is, you know, people know Terry Gregson as the referee, they know Terry Gregson as the director of officiating, but I think what really defines Terry Gregson is the fact that he loves his wife Laurie. And when you talk to Terry, you see the passion and the excitement in his eyes, because he did it all with his best friend and his wife Laurie, and that's nice to see.